and welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, affectionately known for over 40 years now as the Money Lady, both locally, nationally, and even internationally. And it is my distinct honor and privilege to be a part of your world for the next hour and to introduce something a little different to you to assist you in your growth and development during these challenging times. Again, the focus in 2024 is I'm going to be highlighting the accomplishments and achievements of so many women who are out here today. Like it or not, statistics do not lie. Women are now the largest population group in this country and oftentimes overlooked. And I am committed, if you know me, you know I'm going to shed the light on all of it so that you can grow. Art is very important. I'm not saying that personally. I'm saying it to everyone that is viewing. Art was one of the first things that Adolf Hitler eliminated in his quest for world power and domination. He killed artists, he destroyed their work, and the people suffered. Why? Because art expresses the inner soul consciousness, the hope. And today's guest is just so exceptional and so extraordinary, and I'm just honored to have her here with us for this next hour. Mary Barr Rhodes was born in 1954, and she lives and works in Cincinnati, Ohio. I became acquainted with Mary, 20 years ago. I was at an event, and her work was so stunning that I couldn't take my eyes off of it. This was not art the way that I knew art as, and I'm not into knockoffs and anything like that. Her work exuded energy, and she got my attention. And I said then, this woman is going to be world famous and world renowned, and that is exactly what has happened. She's a mixed media artist working with themes related to nature, color, energy, feminist issues, and light resonance. I don't want to sound fancy, but once you see it, you'll understand. She holds a master's degree in art from Marshall University, and she has greatly been influenced by the abstract expressionist movement. She began her career in a period of history where sexism ruled the art world. Consequently, her artwork has been strongly influenced by the feminist movement and represents feminine energy, dynamic color energy, and noun light resonance. Her artwork reflects her personal interest in energy, sound, and light, reflecting our current era of consciousness. Viewers, whether you like it or not, and we have the eclipse, things are changing, and the enlightenment is coming. Believe me, don't get caught up with all the distractions and the negativity. We're entering into an astounding new world. We are. Her artwork is in numerous prestigious corporations throughout the United States, including locally Graydon Law Firm, First Financial Bank, Von Lehman Accounting, and Johnson Investment. Her work is also in numerous homes, including mine, across the United States, Europe, and South America. Her recent highlights include an award by Venue magazine and being named Artist of the Year by Art Design Consultants. She was recently commissioned by a new boutique hotel, McKinley, and was awarded a light installation at Barr Projects. She's an extraordinary woman. I love her. I love her art, but her art is an expression of her. That's what all real art is. That's why I tell people, stop buying these cheap knockoffs. There's nothing in that but a print and a picture. If you really want to go to the heart of the matter, you've got to get inside the heart of the artist. Welcome, Mary Barr Rhodes.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so very much for having me on today.
Oh my goodness. It's my honor. You're such an extraordinary woman. As I told you, your one piece of art hangs in my bedroom. I took the mirror down and I put the art up so that I look at it every single day, and it helps my heart. It's beautiful. It lights up the room as you light up the room yourself and your heart. So where do we want to begin here? Tell me about yourself and what you're doing.
Well, let's start with the early years.
Okay.
As you said, I went to Marshall University, and I had the privilege of studying under June Kilgore. She was the head of the art department, and June just took me under her wing. Her and Carol Toth and Sally Romaine were the three women, three powerful, strong women, artists and art educators who greatly influenced my growth. We spent a lot of time in New York. June had attended Pratt for her MFA, and I got to interview and be with George McNeil. George McNeil worked directly with Hans Hofmann at Pratt, and Hans Hofmann came to America right after World War II. And he was from Munich, and he was such a great influence in the abstract expressionist movement. He was a great educator, and out of this time, it was a period of liberation and freedom. You know, after the war, people just broke loose and expressed themselves like never before. And it was first coined abstract expressionist by a critic by Robert Coates. And the key figures in the New York school were Arshile Gorky, Jackson Pollock, Willem de Kooning, Franz Klein, Mark Rothko, Norman Lewis. So many names that are now masters. But in the beginning, in the very beginning, so it really wasn't accepted until the 50s, but there was this show, and there were 61 artists. They had to have each artist only bring one piece to the show because there was so much excitement about a show around this freedom and liberation that so many people wanted to be in it. There were 61 artists, and there were 11 women in this show. And yes, so this was really the first time that women artists were seen as in the contemporary and avant-garde world. So Jackson Pollock's wife, Lee Krasner, Elaine de Kooning, married to Willem de Kooning. So there was these women, and they were called later in a book, they were called Ninth Street women because that's kind of where they all lived in the 50s and 60s, and it was considered the New York school. And it all started around, you know, Hans Hofmann, and because he was teaching how to push and pull space, spatial illusion. And that's what was so astounding to me as a student, that you didn't have to have any flowers, trees, so on. You could use the formal elements of art to push and pull space and open up space, never like before. So some of these women, Helen Frankenthaler, you know, Joan Mitchell, Louise Nevelson, so many of these women, Hannah Wilkie, I saw a show of hers, Judy Chicago's The Dinner Party. So this was quite a movement, and it was really considered the first American movement of art. It changed the epicenter of art from Paris, where it was originally, to New York City. So that was big. That was really big. And it was a time never to, you know, that for the first time, artists really felt so liberated. And like I said, I got to work directly with George McNeil. So those early years really developed my lineage of abstract expressionism. And it's so important to me that I honor these women. I did a show a couple of years ago in which I did 3 pieces to celebrate Helen Frankenthaler's work, because so many collectors and people just don't even know who these artists are. So I wanted to introduce them to Helen Frankenthaler. And then, it meant so much to me to have this moment to celebrate these women. So that was my early years. So I can go ahead and tell you a little bit about, I grew up in West Virginia on 43 acres. And my brother was 7 years older, so it was like growing up as an only child, and both of my parents worked. So I really spent most of my time in nature, riding my pony, pretending I was an Indian princess. But what it really gave me is a deep bond of reverence for nature.
That's powerful.
So nature yes,
Yeah.
it really, really was. I spent time talking to the crows, watching and, seeding flowers and vegetables with my mother in the garden. I really did have a close bond. And there was this hill beside of our home in which I could climb up this hill, and I would sit for hours looking out over the vista. I could see the valley and all the way to the river. So you will see that show up in my work from time to time. It still shows up, even though I have really, grown as an artist and changed my compositions and content. But that still was a deep part of my growth and my foundation.
So let me ask you a question, because this has been very interesting looking at your evolution to the woman you are today, which I feel is a fully evolved, actualized woman, American woman, and brimming with energy and creativity and a willingness to take artistic liberties, I might say, because even in the art I can see the progression. I have some earlier pieces, and they're lovely, but what you are creating now, Mary, it's something changed. What happened?
Well, I think a lot of it is about life itself. I went through a divorce. I was a single mother raising my children, and it's whatever grief we have, we put out on that canvas. But I'm going to show some slides in a little bit, and you can see the progression, because my work now has grown out of some darkness. And darkness is a positive thing if we embrace it. And I also want to throw in here that I studied with Deborah Uten at the School of Conscious Living. I studied the Enneagram and spiral dynamics. And it was very, very important to me as a mother. My 2 greatest masterpieces are my daughters, Chelsea and Chandra. And the Enneagram gave me the language to talk with my daughters during those teen years, which can be difficult, but I had 2 wonderful daughters. They are outstanding members of society today. And the language and to help them grow up in a way that they were looking within. And I gave them the tools of meditation, of body scans, of just finding the right words about themselves, and even understanding spiral dynamics, that where they are now in the levels of consciousness. So
Dr.
that was a big...
Dr. Uten is a remarkable woman. I
Thank
have
you.
to have
She
her.
is
She's remarkable. She is.
and she now teaches the Enneagram all over the world.
Yes.
She's got a school in Egypt. So she was a big part of my development right after the divorce. And I had so many women, I'm going to go there again too. I had so many women that embraced me because I was doing the work. And even before I was calling it this divine feminine work, women always related to my work. It was just something I could not ignore. So many women purchased my work. I started out with Lisa Spanos at Art Design Consultants like almost 30 years ago. So she's been very instrumental in my exposure, and she has sold many, many pieces for me over the years. I've had Veronique at Gallery Veronique, Jennifer Sierra, Northern Kentucky. There's more. Who am I forgetting? So many that have shaped my life. And
Well, I
have just
might
been there for
say,
me. Collectors, Pamela Linnell Myrick's,
yep.
you, so many different collectors in town have just really, really Laura Sands, that have really helped and embraced me through the years.
And I have watched, not surprisingly, because I saw it when I first met you. It was like stepping into a magical fantasy, and all this energy that this artwork sent out, you could feel it. And we were just enthralled. I was enthralled because it showed the power of art. I really, really get it. And I must say, Mary, that I am deeply offended when I look at knockoff art. Very common today, coming in from other countries, cheap. You put it in a frame, the frame costs more than the art, and there's no energy. It's just a print. It's like a Xerox print that you slap on a wall, and I don't believe that is the essence of the feminine. I don't believe that. I think that's business, but that's not life. And
Right.
you resonate
And-
with life.
Right. And, you know, my art really does, it is me on the canvas. It truly is. And, you know, you can find my art on Singular Art, on Saatchi. I'm with Steidel Gallery in Palm Beach. I'm with Schur in Miami. I'm with James Ratliff Gallery in Sedona. So, you know, my art, I'll just say my art sells itself. It used to be about color energy, but now my work has changed over to not only color energy, that's still part of it, but my work is about light energy. And I want to go ahead and start the slides now.
Okay.
And we can discuss the pieces. And this first one is an earlier piece entitled Afterwards. And, you know, it was really funny because I did this piece not long after the divorce. And it took about 2 years before someone said to me, you know, that looks like a tombstone.
Oh my
never
gosh.
Never had even dawned on me that it looked like a tombstone. But at the bottom of that painting, it goes from dark and it has this light coming from within. And then at the very bottom, you see right along that edge, little tints of light from Mylar, because I have learned that when you use Mylar, it does create a light resonance. So I'm going to show you the first piece, but this was a big turning point for me. So that's a very important piece, and LeBaron owns that, so I'm just very happy that he owns that piece. And I'm going to go over to the next piece, which is, well, let me see when it comes up.
Here it is.
There it is. This
Yeah.
piece is called Water Wake. Like I said, the water has always, and the landscape has always been very impactful for me. This piece was the first piece in which I use glass.
You use glass?
So I use glass, kind of like an impressionist painter would actually use glass. So that piece was very instrumental in my career. This was a few years later. And it was sold by Shure Gallery in Miami. But that was another turning point in my career, is when I started using glass. And then I moved over and worked out of Bromwell's for about 5 years. And lo and behold, he had fireplace glass. And I was just so in love with fireplace glass. And I still use some of it today. I use a variety of glass. I use thermal glass, fireplace glass, but the love of my life is Blinko hand-blown glass. Growing up in West Virginia, I became aware of Blinko glass. It's in Milton, West Virginia. They have been blowing glass for over 100 years, and I drive over and I get these big raw chunks of glass that are just beautiful. And then I, or interns, break that glass into pieces that are usable within my work. So most pieces have a variety of glass in them, because different glasses give off different light resonance. The other thing that I've learned is when you juxtapose those pieces of glass together, that they create these little pockets of energy that gives off light resonance. So that's when I really moved into light resonance, because I just find that so fascinating. So in the last couple of years, I've been saying that my art is at the intersection of art, science, and spirituality, because that science really has shown up on the canvas. And the more I learn about it, I've also learned that after you create these little pockets, if you put the Mylar underneath, it increases the light resonance by even an additional 85%. So it really is a powerful tool. And one of the reasons that this is so important to me is that when these pieces give off light in your home, it is my invitation to you to become the light of our world. We can change the world. We can be the light if we just have faith. And through our light, we can influence others. And we can be light to ourselves, to others, and to our world. Because the feminine energy is about nurturing, compassion, love. And that's, our society is at a point that we really need to bring in these more gentle solutions and more peaceful actions. And we can do that by being the light ourselves. So that's the spiritual aspect, because I really want my work to carry that into the world. And I hope that that is my legacy, is that my work is art, of course, first and foremost, but it has the science behind it to create the light resonance that takes that light out into the world and is that invitation. So, I believe this is a time of integration of art, science, and spirituality in our world. And so I just wanted to read on the canvas.
I think if I might interrupt, if you please, I want to. But
please.
when you have those three areas of the art, the science, and the spirituality, And the fact that artists, I think, are totally anointed, gifted to be able to integrate those things into what becomes a masterpiece. As I shared with you, that your one piece of art, and I do have, of course, more than one, but the one I put in my bedroom over my dresser. And it is the first, when I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I see. It takes the wall, it resonates with beauty, with the sunlight coming in my bedroom, and it hits that piece of art, and it's just like everything comes alive. And it's just marvelous. I thank you. Continue.
Well, we can really be that aliveness in the world. I invite people to get up and create, because when we realize that we can create, that is really what so many people don't realize, that they have that power. We are co-creators in this world, and we don't need to sit on the couch, and we need to be creating and bringing this action to the world, and our light to the world really can change our world. So I really truly believe that. Let's show another slide, because
Okay.
the next one,
Oh, that's beautiful.
yes, Bill
That's
owns
beautiful.
this piece. He's just been so supportive over the years. This is a large canvas. I think it's 4 by 5 feet. And
That's
this was
large.
after a trip to Dominican. And I did a show called Dominican Divine, which every piece in the show was influenced by my trip there. Now, this was a moody morn. So you can see the purples and the gold tones and the copper. Some of the pieces obviously were blue and turquoise and greens, but it was really part of my life then. It really just consumed me there for about 2 years. So the Dominican Divine. Yeah, that's when I was artist in residence at the frame shop on Main Street.
Oh my goodness,
So-
okay.
Yeah, you
beautiful.
remember those years? I
Yes,
was there
I
for a
do.
few years.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and look at this next piece.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
this is the beginning right here.
oh.
This
Chalice.
is the beginning of the Chalice series.
Oh, the chalice.
I did two. There's a blue and a turquoise piece. And, I didn't even really know what these were in the beginning. It just kind of came out of me. And I was getting ready for an international juried exhibition at ADC. And I created this strong containing element. You can go ahead and show the next one, I think. I'm not sure. But these containing elements, no, go back to the other one, I'm sorry, if you don't mind. This containing element, thank you, gives a very strong container. And that, to me, is the woman. And the hand-blown Blinko glass at the bottom, there's seeds of germination of our creation. And then that central figure is, rising to the heavens. And it's about the glory of creation. So this piece was chosen for a book cover. Murray Bodo, a poet, asked to use this piece. John Quigley was the art director on the cover, and I just love it. And I was just so honored because he's such an outstanding poet. And I just, poetry and music has always been a very important piece of my life. And so this piece was the beginning of the Chalice. So if you'll go ahead to the next piece, because this piece is called Out of Darkness. And it's another one of my stories because, I started the Chalice work, but this was from the Black Lives Matter protest here in Cincinnati. One night I'm sitting on my bed. This is like 11 o'clock news. And for some reason, I knew this was happening. So I turned on the news to see, what was going on. And lo and behold, there is this young reporter, I think it was, I don't know what channel it was, but she was right in the middle of the protest. And she stayed with it from when they broke the glass at the Criminal Justice Center. She walked with them all the way down to Vine Street, the new part of Vine. And I'll just never forget how this large white male broke out the glass at Micah. And Micah had really been a pioneer in developing that part of town in Vine Street and over the Rhine. Great people who have a great store, and it just broke my heart that this man decided to break the glass out of that store. It was just an injustice, and it touched me deeply. So the next morning, two friends, Damone and Henry, went down to Micah with me to gather the glass. And it was on two dimensions that I wanted to be there. I wanted to help them clean up because they had broken out the windows. So I wanted to be there to support them. And then I don't think I ever even talked to them about it, but I did. I wanted to be there to help clean up because it was just so unjust. But I also, of course, saved this glass, and
Yes.
I put it in painting out of darkness to commemorate that moment in Cincinnati history.
You know, that is profound, because the first thing that came to me is that glass. I said, I know she kept the glass. She had
I
to
did.
keep the glass, because
I did.
encased in that glass's energy was that occurrence.
Well, and I'll tell a little story. An artist, in my mind, is about transforming the world.
Okay.
It's our mission, and it's our. So it's important for me to take the glass that was out of violence and transform it into beauty.
Yes.
And years ago, I didn't even tell this story. The reason I first started using glass is I was a Sunday morning, I'm walking to my studio at the frame shop on Main Street, and I'm walking down Liberty Street, and lo and behold, someone had shot out the glass door in this property. And it's a property that was not open and no one lived there or anything. But out in front of this, there was just a mountain of glass. And the morning sunlight was striking the glass. And it just really touched me. It was like really an epiphany moment in my life, because that's when I realized, we can transform violence into beauty. So Damone came and helped me sweep up the glass, shovel up the glass, and
Bag
that's
it.
one of the first times that I did a piece with, a lot of glass. So that was one of the stories. I should have told that earlier, but still a very big turning point in my life is to just take the glass and create something with it, because no matter what we have, if we create something positive out of it, that's our part. That's our accountability on this earth.
Well, if I
So let's
might,
go ahead.
Okay. Can you all go and show the next video, the next piece of art? That's the green.
Yes.
Oh, that's
This
lovely.
is a 4 by 5 foot chalice that has a lot of different green tones in it. And at the bottom, there are these gigantic, huge shards of hand-blown glass from Blinko, and then the gold containing element that lifts to the sky. And this piece was in Art Basel this year with Steidel Gallery in Palm Beach. And if you don't know what Art Basel is, it's the largest art fair in the world. Basel started in Switzerland, but now moved to, they're still in Switzerland, but they have opened up Basel in Miami. And it just attended by collectors, people all over the world come in for this show. I mean, the whole city of Miami comes alive with art. There's art, I mean, everywhere. Every gallery, every museum, every studio, everything is alive with art. It transforms the city. And now Art Basel, as an organization, has also opened up Paris, Art Basel Paris. I haven't been in that one yet, but I'm very honored to be in the show at Art Basel this year. And I did the winter market, and that included the Palm Beach shows as well as Palm Beach modern and contemporary show. So that's quite the
how well attended? How well attended was it?
Millions.
That's an energy.
Come in for it.
That's an energy right there.
Oh my goodness. I mean, well, I would invite anybody down to Miami that first week in December. It is just an amazing time to be there. It's great for me because I get to meet up with other artists and talk and learn. And there's all kinds of programming that's included with Art Basel. And it's just a fabulous city. Here, I love Miami, so it's just a fabulous city. So I invite everyone to come down for that. It's a fabulous experience.
Fun.
The city, vibrant.
Let's digress for just a minute, because for people that are not familiar with all of these great names and accomplishments and all of that, where would you recommend a person to begin their journey in the world of abstract and expressionist art?
You know, you can start in any city almost. You can go online nowadays. It's amazing. But if you can buy locally, go to your local art gallery. Go to the studio of artists. I work out of a building here. It's called the Pendleton Art Center. There are over 200 residents in the building, and on final Fridays of every month, we open up our studios, and there's over 100 artists that open up. And I mean, you can see every kind of art that you would like to see. Super realism, impressionist, photography, ceramics, jewelry, abstract, contemporary. I mean, you can really see it all here at the Pendleton Art Center. We are the largest facility. We have the most residents under one roof of any facility now in the world. We used to be east of the Mississippi, but now we are the largest in the world. So anytime you want to fly to Cincinnati, stop in. It's actually worth traveling here now.
It is definitely.
And we have not been the epicenter of art, but now Cincinnati is alive with art. Poetry, spoken word, dance, the music scene is crazy. And, you know, I want to say a minute to jazz. Jazz is so close to my heart. And, you know, that was a parallel time. The jazz improvisation scene in New York paralleled the time of abstract expressionists. Those were the first art movements of America. You know, jazz is the first true musical movement of America. So these were about the same times. And in New York, it was a scene. Harlem at night, you know, 9th Street during the day. All of these artists came out and really, it just expressed the liberation of those times, that we would be free enough to improvise in music or on the canvas.
So let me ask you, just kind of hone in, if a person wants to get baptized in the world of art, and again, I'm into more the abstract, and that was learned. It's like anchovies, you know. It's a gut thing.
Right.
You just don't
It is a
look
gut.
at it. It's a gut thing. It's just like, this is powerful. So I'm not into.
Well, I'm glad you said that. That's a very important part.
Yeah. So would you like to talk? I mean, I'm trying, and I have tried over the years to present art and the art expression to people that may not have had the interest or the exposure, because again, it's another level of growth. Just another level of growth to become more connected in within.
It is. It so is, and that's such an interesting thing because, like jazz, abstract art is to be felt, not defined.
Ah,
And people, a lot of people can sit down and listen to music and open up to the music. But it's still difficult sometimes for people who walk into my studio to just open up
yeah.
instead of saying, well, tell me about this. Put it, in other words, they need me to put it into words.
It's not a
I
word.
start as, yes,
It's a
it really is
feeling.
a method of practice.
It's a feeling.
If it is so not about words, but feeling our world and open up and accept and allow yourself this freedom to feel
Yes.
from your gut, as you said. And it's a solitude. I work in my studio every day, and there's no one else here but me. And I invite people to slow down and look at a painting and just be with it instead of talking about it.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes afterwards I go up and invite them, if they want to talk about what they felt, what did it make them feel? It's not about words. It's not about words. It's not about our analytical mind. I paint abstractly because I think abstractly. So I knew very early in my career that is what I wanted to do.
Well,
Because-
not to interrupt, Mary, but who connects with your art are children. Children, my grandsons, will just stare and look for not a minute or two. They will look in and they will ask questions. And it's amazing. But I want our time, believe it or not, has run out. And I want to get the video that you did in this segment. I want people to see that video. And I also need them to know where you are and how to reach you, if you don't mind. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so very much.
Now, how can they reach you? How can they reach you?
They can find me at the Pendleton Arts Center, pendletonartscenter.com here in Cincinnati. I think it's Pendleton Arts Center Cincinnati.com. And then you can also just go to my website, which is marybarrrhodes.com.
Excellent.
So feel free to reach out and contact me at any time. I love answering questions and talking with people about my artwork. So
And they have to get to your studio.
requests from all over the world.
They do. They have to come to
and
your
by all
studio.
means, I invite you to the studio. Yes. It's
Is
got
there-
a beautiful morning light, northern light.
Yes.
I'm very blessed to be here at the Pendleton Arts Center.
You are. It's a marvelous place. It is absolutely. But as I tell the other artists, I'm been about, and I said, well, I collect her stuff, so I'll look at your stuff, but a piece has to talk to you, and so they are those are my little babies. And if I were ever alone, like without a permanent place, I want my art and my music, and I'd be good. I would be good. So you've given them your contact information. And is there a final piece before we transition into this video?
Well, sure. You know what? We could quickly just go through the slides. There's a few more if we want to just flip through those.
Well, we've run out of time because I want to show you.
We're out of time. Okay.
I
Well, let
wanted
me
to show
just
you a
speak
video.
quickly about the film that's coming up. I produced this with River Sky Films here in Cincinnati, and it is a piece about the women who came before me and brought me their light, and about how I share that light on my canvases, my artwork, and then also I give that light to my interns to build a future lineage of art and abstract art.
That is a beautiful thing to conclude our show with. Viewers, we're going to go quickly into the video portion of Mary Barr Rhodes. I want to thank all of you for watching this, for listening to her heart and seeing the amazing art. And there's so much more. That's the beautiful thing about gifts. It resonates. There's more. And I invite you to have that experience with Mary Barr Rhodes. This concludes the session on Mary Barr Rhodes, abstract art. And I thank all of you for listening in. And now we're going to watch this video to conclude today's show. God bless you all. You take care of yourselves. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Many mothers have blessed me, have watered my roots and given me fertile ground. These wise women made the Divine Mother real in my life, and in my work I honor them and make them vibrantly present in the world. Glass flows like water. It rides buoyantly as if carried on a stream. Glass in these works connote spiritual oceans within. Its fluid movement speaks to the generative ocean within all women, the water of life, and the healing power of the feminine. Rich, vibrant colors delight the eye and open the soul. Brilliant fragments of hand-blown glass draw light in and release it in the stream of vital energy. Life and healing shine out from every facet. Through my art, I invite you to use your heart as an instrument of perception, to move beyond time and reason and into pure consciousness.